It is, amazing that this has been lasting for quite some weeks. Today, it's, of course, ambulance workers. Are there any signs of progress in the talks?
Well, actually, the tensions are really high between the government and the unions. I was speaking to the boss of the GMB union, which is involved in the ambulance drivers' strike today, and he compared the anti-strike legislation that the government tabled yesterday to something that a dictator would do. He mentioned Vladimir Putin because, of course, it's going to curb workers' right to strike. But there has been some good news, and it's been reported by our reporters, that the government is considering backdating pay, and that would offer some sort of compromise between the union's demand and the government's refusal to negotiate on pay for this financial year. So the other union that's involved in the ambulance drivers' strike today, Unison, described it as a chink of light, that finally they're talking about pay, even if there isn't a written offer on the table. But what I think is going to be interesting today is at Prime Minister's questions. Yep. Does Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, actually go there on strikes when actually it's a pretty difficult position for Labour as well?
So, Lizzy, if you look at the anti-strike law, I mean, would it even work, or is it just a negotiation position? Does it get through?
Well, it's going to take ages to get through if it does. It's going to face opposition in the House of Lords, in the courts, and if it passes, Keir Starmer has said that he would repeal it upon entering office, which harks back to the 1970s industrial relations legislation as well. The thing that the government keeps hammering home in the past 24 hours is that you've got similar legislation to this in Europe, in France and Germany, and it's less stringent and it's quite effective in providing a minimum level of service. That's what the government wants. But in terms of where we go from here on the negotiations, it seems to me, if I were going to bet, that no one placed a bet on this.
I was going to say, we'll put a poll on social media. You can bet there.
The nurses are going to be able to hold out the longest because they've got the public with them, and their problems in terms of working conditions are just so tied up in the health services problems more generally, and when we've got an ageing population, they seem to be really intractable.